Christian and you're going, hey, how do the roles of men and women work and what is God's intention? Then I say, get into the word and actually see how the roles of men and women worked. And you'll see that God actually elevated women. You'll see that men were never allowed or called to actually push women down.
Heard the song everywhere and people were making like videos and being like, it's crazy how it's mostly just women, honestly, because it's a feminine rage song. But it's like,
It is. I know it is. What's up, y'all? I am here with my daughter, Ari. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And if you don't know, Paris Paloma put out a song that the ladies are loving, absolutely loving. Well, some of them. And she brought it to me. She was like, hey, you should do a video on this song by Paris Paloma. And I was like, well, then you should do it with me. And she said, okay. And
I think I did actually say that.
And so Ari is in ninth grade. She's a singer, songwriter, and yeah, she's doing some fun stuff, and she's making a ton of money this year.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I don't know why I thought to add that, but jeepers. When she told me how much money she was making, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm not going to tell you so you don't rob her.
Keep
but
wondering.
Keep wondering. So you brought this song to me.
Yeah.
What like triggered you about this song that you're like, and we'll tell you what the lyrics are and stuff, but what triggered you about this song that made you go, somebody should he should talk about this?
Okay, well, I've heard it for maybe like a few months, maybe like end of last year, and I've heard the song everywhere and people were making like videos and being like, it's crazy how it's mostly just women, honestly, because it's a feminine rage song, but it's like it
is. I know it is.
So angry. And just like, I mean, I've heard angry songs, but like they were just so, I don't know how to explain it.
So you have like Olivia Rodrigo angry.
Yeah.
And then you have this angry. So something about this stuck out to you that was different.
Yeah, because then it made like men seem so, it just made men seem so evil when they're really not. It's just, honestly, okay. I guess it just really depends. But
all right, well, let's look at some of these lyrics. We're gonna walk through them. All right, so it starts out, why are you hanging on so tight to the rope that I'm hanging from off this island? This was an escape plan. This was an escape plan. That's not how it goes, but there's an echo there. Carefully timed it, so let me go and dive into the waves below. Who tends the orchards? Who fixes up the gables? The fact that she used gables, I was like, wow.
What's a gable?
Anne of Green Gables. What's a gable? I feel like I should know this.
Is it like a
triangular section of an exterior wall that sits between the sloping sides of a pitched roof?
Why is she Anne of that?
Anne of Green Gables?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would 100% believe that women weren't fixing those. There's like 0% of women that are in roofing today. So I'm assuming they weren't in roofing that long ago. Anyways, emotional torture from the head of your high table. Who fetches the water from the Rocky Mountain spring and walk back down again to feel your words and their sharp sting? And I'm tired. The capillaries in my eyes. Oh, this is the chorus. The capillaries in my eyes are bursting. If our love died, would it be the worst thing for somebody I thought was my savior? You sure make me do a whole lot of labor. The callous skin on my hands is cracked. If your love ends, would it be a bad thing? And the silence haunts our bed chamber. You make me do too much labor. All right. So then she goes on. Pre-chorus, if we had a daughter, I'd watch and could not save her. The emotional torture from the head of her high table. She'd do what you taught her. She'd meet the same cruel fate. This is some language here. Cruel fate. So now I've got to run so I can undo this mistake. At least I've got to try. Then it goes through talking about all the labor he makes her do. And this is the bridge that you brought to me.
Yeah.
So read this and like walk me through this.
All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph then a virgin, nurse then a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make me do too much labor. And then it repeats it.
Okay. So I agree. That's the part where it gets a little like, what are we talking about here?
I don't know. That's my thing. Well, also, and like whatever the past one was, when you said it was like some crazy verbiage or language that they were using there, it just sounded so angry. And like, are you just like trying to really just put it all up in their face that they're mad at you or you're mad at them?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like most people go into a relationship loving each other, right? Especially today. Because it wasn't like she wrote this in like the 40s or the 50s or even the, you know what I mean? It's like this was written recently.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, unless you're in if you're in an abusive relationship, all right, we could talk about this. But I feel like women are using this as just like a general sense of what a heterosexual relationship is like.
Right.
There was an article that was put out. It says, what?
What you're gonna say?
What, this? Oh, what I'm going to say about what? The article?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the article's out there. I'll put a link to it if you want to read it. And it talks about, so when new singer-songwriter Paris Paloma dropped a teaser for her new single Labor on TikTok, her explosive, furious lyric struck a chord with millions of young women at the end of their tether. They were just at the end of it. They were young and they were at the end of their tether, their long tether of youngness. A short.
Why does this need thorough explanation?
I don't know. It's just like the words are being used. A short clip of the music video in which Paloma is gorging on bloody looking fruits, beetroot and pomegranates, she says, but mistakenly look like hearts, reached 1 million likes. Tens of thousands of women have used the track to share their own experience of misogyny and the need for the avenue to direct the fury that's been smoldering inside them. Is there fury smoldering inside you?
Not for that.
What do you have fury smoldering for?
Maybe not.
Just smoldering fury. Just.
I still keep thinking of that one Olaf Presents thing. Your smoldering boyfriend's gonna hang.
Let's see. Paloma sat down exclusively with the big issue. That's where this came from, to explain what inspired her viral hit. Women are just doing more and more, and men are not doing any more than they've ever done, she says. Do you think that's true?
No. Wait, reread it again.
She says women are just doing more and more, and men are not doing any more than they've ever done.
No, because men still have more, like, I feel like we looked at the stats and it was like men are like women 0% of like 0 point something percent or like not doing like construction, very little are doing like what was the other one? Like truck driving.
Yeah, truck driving, all that kind of stuff.
All that kind of things.
Yeah.
And like it's all still men doing it. But like I mean women still do a lot of things. They do. Like they're the ones that like I mean I guess they take care of the kids, they do all these things, but like it's not like they're doing more than men.
Yeah, and I think honestly, when we look at the numbers, it actually shows us comparatively. This is kind of crazy stats right here. So in 2004, 63% of men helped out with household activities, right? Cooking, cleaning, yard work. In 2025, so just 20-year difference, 74% of men. In 2004, 84% of women, household stuff, 86% of women, household stuff, right? So men went up a lot of percent, women went up a little bit. Household, specifically cleaning, laundry, men went from 18% to 23%. Women went from 54% to 47%. So men went up in household work, cleaning, laundry, and women went down over the last 20 years.
So you kind of just disproved her point, like by a lot.
Food preparation and cleanup, men went from 35 to 57%. Women went from 66 to 72%. So it's like women and men went up on that. I think people are just eating out less. People just can't afford it anymore.
Honestly, it's
Okay.
getting outrageous.
This is crazy. Stay-at-home dads in 2003, 98,000. 2023, 231,000.
Oh,
It went up 136%. Moms, 5.3 million. Went in 2003, 2023, 4.27 million. So it went down 21% of stay-at-home moms. Now, obviously, there's way more stay-at-home moms in general than dads. But if you look at the percentage,
right.
what dads are doing at home is going up. So women are doing more and more, and guys are not doing anything more. They're just doing the same.
Yeah.
It's like this is not the case. I would say, so I do a lot of premarital counseling with people.
Right.
I would say very few times have I come across a couple where they're just like, because we always ask them, like, what are your roles at going to be at home? And because you want to know, when you're going into a relationship, some relationship advice, especially marriage, have expectations. What do I expect her to do? What do I expect him to do? And you guys need to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Very rarely have I heard them go, I work, she cleans, she has the babies. When I get home, I sit on my butt and do nothing. And
right.
Very rarely is that. I actually haven't heard it one time.
I was going to say, I was like, very rarely.
You've
heard that before?
I've never heard it one time. Now, I realize this was the way, and I do know some older dads that think like that. I go to work, make the money, and you clean the house. Now, here's the thing. If she doesn't have a job besides being at home, that's her job.
Right.
That, like you make it possible for him to go to work and make money so you don't have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have a job. You work here. But I think it's kind of like we don't think about what marriage is, which is becoming one.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, oh, he goes to work and I do this. That's his money. It's like, no, it's our money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. With me and mom, I don't say, hey, that's my paycheck. It's like, no, that's our mom has a job too.
I was going to say.
She has a part-time job too. But like, I don't go, hey, you use your money for what you want. I'm going to use my money for what I want. It's our money.
Yeah.
And so we share that load. I do dishes. I take the kids. I do not a lot of the homeschooling, some of the homeschooling.
Yeah.
All right, here's some more of it. There's still an expectation for women to have this very traditional, archaic role as caregiver and a servant and a wife and a mother and a homemaker. But women have had enough of existing to serve others. What do you think about that?
Sounds pretty selfish to me.
But why? So why is it? Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think that? Do you agree with this? Do you like just the mindset of what she's saying?
No, not really. Because I don't know. Also, it kind of just switched entirely because it was like one from like being mistreated and unfairly by men to not wanting to do work and labor to serve others. Like, where did that come from? Like,
so you're saying they didn't want to do? Oh, you're saying they wanted to do work, but now they
wanted to do work, and then they were like they wanted to do work because like men were doing all this stuff, and like they're like, oh, we want to do work, and then they're like, oh yeah, we don't want to work and have to serve others. And I'm like, what do you want to do? Dude, stare at a wall for all I care. That sounds more like, I don't know. What is it called when it's like fulfilling than whatever you want to do?
So it's like they're fighting for their right to go to work and their right to do this and their right to do that. And then now that they do it, they're like, we're doing more and more.
Yes, they're like, oh, we aren't getting the work that we need, and like all the men are doing all of it. We're not getting everything that we're made to do, and then by the time that they're able to like work and do all these things and are in like more male forces, they're all like, oh yeah, we don't want to work to serve you guys. We don't want to work to do all this stuff. Excuse me? Please.
It is kind of an interesting thing. And it does just speak to the type of society that we have. Like, as Christians, the Bible actually says that we are called to serve.
Right.
Right? And so I'm not sure why there's a disconnect between men going to work to serve their family by going to work. Right? As if like the money, if you're not getting a paycheck, then it's not serving.
Yeah.
Because you could just have a husband that decides he doesn't want to work. And now you have to work.
Right.
To take, why do they say I'm working? To take care of my family. That is a way of serving your family. So if you're serving in the house or you're serving out in the workforce, you're still serving.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and I will say that people have downplayed the importance of the role at home.
Yeah.
I personally, when I talk to my wife and I like think about my kids, this one included, and how great they are, I would say the vast majority that I put onto her and the influence, the time, the prayer, the hours, the advice, the coach, like everything that she's put into that it's her. And so I'm not saying I have zero to do with it, but I would say the amount of time that she's with them is more than I'm with them.
Yeah.
And so like that is something that she's serving our family and the community with, because we have incredible kids. And so they actually do a lot in the community, blessing people, helping people, babysitting people's kids, all that kind of stuff. And that's because of what she's done. My wife has done. All right. So another user, whatever that is. That's what you said when you read it.
Yeah, it was like this
I don't care.
insane username. And I'm like,
they
can we not just do our name anymore?
They translated the lyrics into British Sign Language with the caption, "When words resonate too much, Paloma wants it known that while all women carry the weight of unpaid physical and emotional labor." Let's pause on that. Physical labor
And emotional labor?
Are we now emotional labor? I'll take that. You're dealing with the kids, crying babies, crying teens.
Right. Crying teens.
You saying you never cried with mom?
About mom?
With mom.
Oh, I was like, what?
Mom takes most of your emotional labor.
Yeah.
But physical labor, I'm not sure what's going on. Are we talking about like laboring babies out? Because if we're talking about that, yes, they take all of that.
I do not like that. Laboring babies out.
But if we're talking about actual physical labor, I'm like pretty sure men are taking the brunt of that.
Right. Like
93%. So only 7% of women in the workforce are actually in any kind of like labor field. So just ponder that. Okay. So let's see, physical and emotional labor. This goes so much deeper for women of color, trans women, and disabled women. Now, if we're talking about giving birth to children as the labor, trans women aren't dealing with this. So we know 0% of those women are dealing with that problem.
Right.
100%. What? If
Never
you're
mind.
a trans woman.
Never mind. I was processing. I was
what a
like,
trans woman
well,
is?
well, I was going to be like, if it was like a dude became a girl, never mind. They still can't do that. And then I was like, never mind. That doesn't work.
Trans men can deal with labor.
Yeah, but they don't.
Some of them do. I know.
Oh.
I know. Okay,
Somebody
let's
better
see.
fess up. That's gross.
They go so much deeper for women of color, trans women, and disabled women. Female rage is a term. Little rage anthem. Female rage is a term that's widely been attached to Paloma's track, as well as the increasingly popular genre of music described as some as witch pop or neo folk that evokes the notion of empowered women ready for vengeance.
This kind of just sounds like whatever that one place was where they burned all the witches.
Salem witch trial.
Yeah.
But for dudes.
But for dudes.
Salem dude trial.
Salem dude trial.
They're just
Somebody please AI that. That'd be really funny to see.
AI what?
A Salem dude trial.
They're throwing them into rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But like they're all like looking like whatever the robes are that they wore and like the paganistic looking outfits and like all
But
these
it's dudes.
But it's dudes.
They would just look like the guys that wore
The wizards from like Harry Potter.
probably. Let's see. There are glimmers of change, however. A Spanish woman, Ivana Moral, was recently granted a $215,000 payout from her ex-husband to cover 25 years of unpaid housework. Her lawyer said the ruling was a victory for all women who have labored in the shadows of their husbands. 215 grand.
Now, I don't agree with this, but can we switch places? I would gladly take that $215,000.
Yeah, but you got to get a divorce for it and be married for 25 years.
Slot. No. How about the aftermath? I'll take the money.
I'll just take the money. But unpaid housework. I want you guys to know something. I don't get paid for the housework I do. I don't get paid to mow the lawn. I don't get paid to take the trash out. I don't get paid to do the dishes. I don't get paid. What's that?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say?
I said I wish I did.
You do. You get paid with food and lodging and and car rides to Target. And
yeah. Hey, you had somewhere to go.
I did, but that wasn't one of them. Okay, I've never been the put upon wife, but I've watched it happen, says Paloma. So she's never experienced this.
Oh.
She's just watched it happen.
At least she's making it known.
She wants to speak out, for other people. She wrote labor at the age of 22, but I've seen what it does. What's it do?
I don't know. Like, please elaborate. I would like to know.
What's being a wife do? I think mom's happy. Do you think mom's here? You're her daughter.
Yeah, she's content. I mean, she's content. That sounds right.
she's fine with her life. She's settled. That wasn't the answer I was hoping for. You just proved this woman right. You just proved Paloma right. There goes my title.
Proves Paloma right. My daughter proves Paloma right. No. Like, I know she's happy because, like, I feel like every day that she's here, I can't go, like, 20 minutes without being like, I miss your dad. Or just, like, things like that. I'll, like, look and see her, like, texting you about something, mostly in the car, and using Siri, so I always just laugh at that. But...
Yeah. So, I mean, and listen, I'm not saying there aren't bad relationships. I'm not saying none of this happens. No. I'm saying that today, in the world we live in, I don't think this is the big deal.
No. I feel like you don't really hear about it as much unless you're like...
Well, here, okay.
Also toxic.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. You actually, I think, have to have a very toxic and selfish mindset already to go, and we've taken away this idea of men and women having roles.
Right.
Of like, there is if men could have babies, men would have babies.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So like
it's just weird to think about, though.
Seahorses.
Still makes me laugh.
They hold the babies, they give birth to the babies, right? That's part of their role. And physically, women have more nurturing, they have the capacity to nurture and care more than men do. Not saying men can't, and they don't. They have it more.
Yeah.
Physically, men have the capacity to do more manual labor and labor in general, right? For me to work a 14-hour day is different on me than it is on mom. Mm-hmm. She's way more tired after a 14-hour workday than I am.
Right.
And we're just built different. It's just the way it is. And that's the beauty of marriage, is you're bringing two people with different abilities and different roles to come together and make something that is even better. And so $215,000, Okay, so she says she's never had that happen, but she's seen the toll it takes on women. And it's what I think about and have thought about since I was becoming more conscious of my surroundings as a young teenage girl. What are your thoughts on like the concept of women's roles? Like being even just if someone said the women's role is to be a homemaker, take care of the home, have kids, take care of the kids. Like, what are your thoughts on that? What does that feel like?
Okay, not in like a misogynistic way, but honestly, I agree because like that's what we've been put to do since literally like the beginning. Like that's just like from Bible times, that's basically what the women did. That's just how we've been put. Like that's like the role that we've been giving. Sure, like given, but like I know that women are capable of doing more things. I've seen it. Like we are like able to like have our own businesses, like do all these things, but it's not going to be the same as how men do it. It's not going to be the same roles exactly that men do because we're women. We have different abilities. We have different like strengths and all of these things that go into it, but it's not going to be the same as men. So for us to be like put into like, oh yeah, women stay at home with the kids and like all these things. I mean, sure, like you can if that's what you really want to do and like that's what you feel like you're supposed to do. But like I mean, they are capable of doing other things.
Of course they are.
Like it's not like they're like completely hopeless and that's all they want to do as like they have been putting that men think they are, which they're not. But like I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you look at Proverbs 31, right? Everybody kind of looks at Proverbs 31. That's Proverbs 31 woman. Like she has her own business. She takes care of her home. She takes care of going to the market. She makes business deals. She does all kinds of stuff that are beyond just like, oh, I stay at home and I clean the house. Like nobody, even the Bible isn't saying that's the only thing women can do.
Right.
But when it comes to things like taking care of your children, etc., like especially children, I'm saying that specifically because I think that has the most effect on society. And there's a quote that I heard. It was the greatest thing you do, the greatest thing you achieve may not be something you do, but someone you raise.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like we have devalued the raising of children to the point where we're like, oh, if I have to raise kids, I'm just a slave and a housemate and a servant. And it's like, no, you're not. You've been given the role of building the next generation and having the most influence on them than anybody else. And it's just an incredible role that they've been given. And it really is a selfish mindset to go, oh, well, because I'm not getting a paycheck from an employer. It's like, so you would rather be a slave to your employer or a servant to your employer for a paycheck than to raise the next generation. I mean, either way, you're serving somebody.
Whatever that last thing said, and I was like, we don't want to. What did it say? Something about like not wanting to work to serve anymore, and their refusal to be convenient anymore.
Where's that? I've never been put on.
Paloma is hesitant to embrace it. It can be amazingly empowering, and I think so many women are relating to it as it's just this concept of just having had enough and the refusal to be convenient anymore. Convenient?
That's wild.
That's insane.
Paloma speaks softly and cautiously to describe the inspiration behind her track. Fresh out of university, with a degree in fine art and history of art from one of London's top universities, under her belt, a fresh degree in fine arts and history of art. I'm not sure, like, that's cool. That's not really much under your belt. That, like, that's not.
Why didn't she get a degree in education? Why didn't she get a degree in, I don't know, something
that helps the world?
If you think you got so much power, why don't you try to do something that really shows it?
You can make music without a degree in fine arts.
Right.
You could get a minor in that. I just don't feel like that's much of a it's not much of a flex. It's apparent that the sacrifice, the fears could be put that. Oh, it's apparent that the sacrifice she fears could be put on her later in life as a wife or a mother. weigh heavily on her. That's why. Like, to be terrified of being a wife and a mother is a crazy way of thinking.
Like, sure, fear, I understand because that's a lot of like, not responsibility. Okay, well, yeah,
It
it's
is
like a lot of responsibility, especially for like I understand being like nervous, scared for it to be like, what if I mess up and make my kid a robber? Like, something like that. Like,
Is that your greatest fear as a mom?
no,
What
that was-
if my kid becomes a robber? Not even a thief. He doesn't even get to participate in thievery. Just a robber.
I will not participate in
No
your thievery. No, but like, I understand like the like fear of it, but like to be terrified of being like a mother and a wife is insane. Like,
Yeah.
of all things, why don't you be terrified of the heights or something?
Of terrorism.
Why don't you be terrified of outer space? What? Like, what? Hey, that's scary. Like,
Is that one of yours?
not
Okay,
that I think about
Floating
often,
away
but
in outer space is terrifying.
oh my gosh.
The idea of being on a spaceship and you're out there and your thing gets cut and you're just floating away and there's no stopping unless you hit something, which means that you'll die then. Is like you're just going to starve to death
Oh.
floating through space.
How painful.
That's terrible. All right, she says, you don't get to be in a relationship and treat another person like less than a human being and then be blindsided when that person wants to end that relationship. I think it's crazy, the idea of a woman having children
Mm-hmm.
and just say being a stay-at-home mom
Okay.
is treating them like less than a human. You want to know what's being treated like less than a human? Chattel
Making you bark like a
slavery
dog.
in the 1800s. What?
I said making you bark like a dog.
Making you bark like a dog. I agree. That would be an abusive relationship.
Right.
But chattel slavery in the 1800s.
What is chattel slavery?
Chattel basically be like you're my property, and I get to like
okay.
sell you, treat you as I want. They would make them just like have babies with each other just to keep the population of their slaves going and things like this is a real thing, right?
Gross.
So like in the 1800s or 1700s, 1800s, all that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about black slavery. I understand slavery has been going on longer than that. American slavery. That's being treated less than a human.
Yeah.
Being in the house, taking care of your kids is not being treated less than a human.
Just because you're serving people doesn't make you not a person. Like,
That may be the most profound statement of this whole thing. Just because you're serving people doesn't make you less than a human. That is a wild way of thinking about your life.
like I could just be like working in the kids' classes at church, and somebody would be like, "They're treating you less than a human."
Exactly.
Girl, I volunteered to do this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. You chose to get into a relationship. You chose to stay at home. And if you didn't choose to stay at home, go get a job. Like,
Right.
it's, like I
I think the only one treating you less than a human is you, because you're not living up to your full potential that you think that you have.
Okay, so I agree with that, by the way. If the husband is working and she isn't, then what is she supposed to be doing at home?
If the husband is working.
If the husband is working and she doesn't have a job, so she's at home.
Okay, well, if you have kids, take care of your kids. If you have a dog, take care of your dog. If you don't have any of those things and are kind of lame, then just go out and get a job. Like, I don't know what the issue is.
I guess I'm saying like does it not make sense that if he's at work working and you're at home that you would take care of the home?
Right. Like, I mean, it does make sense, but like, I don't know why people are like trying to make themselves sound so much smarter, and it just makes them sound stupid when they like
it's just
when
like
they bring it up.
he has a job.
You don't have a job.
You are home. If you had a job and he was home, I'd say he needs to take care of the house.
Right.
But in general, I believe that it's the man's role to take care of his family financially, and that the wife can be a part of that, and she can go and get a job. I don't care. But in general, for instance, the conversation we have with pre-married couples is if it comes down to it, whose job is it primarily? If it comes down to it, whose primary responsibility is it to make money for your family? Most of them would say it's the husband's job. And I would say if you had a husband who wasn't making money for your family and just sat around the house, you would say he's a deadbeat and he's taking advantage of you.
Whew.
So I think that matters. If they are both working, they both do things at home. It makes no sense for mom to have a job and me to have a job, and then when I come home, I don't help out with the house.
Yeah.
We both have a job, right? And so these are things that you need to discuss with when you're married. Now, I want to look at this verse because I think it matters when we are looking at what the Bible says, because obviously that's the most important thing. And I think people always have this question about, the role of women, and they always use the term archaic, meaning it's very old. And of course, people want to pull this from the Bible. So what does the Bible actually say? Because people will take advantage of this and be like, well, women are supposed to be subservient to men because the Bible says that women are to submit to their husbands, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see if that's what the Bible actually says. Ephesians 5:22 says, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. So there it says, submit to your own husbands. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. So first of all, it's giving definitions and roles. The wife submits to her husband as the church submits to Christ. So it's giving a picture of what they do based off of Jesus and the church. Jesus is the head of the church. Now, this doesn't mean, it doesn't say Jesus is the tyrant. Jesus is the dominator. It's basically saying Jesus is the source. Jesus is the one who covers it, who protects it. Jesus is the one who died on the cross for the church. And so when we look at that, we're going, there was a sacrifice. There was a giving of himself that Jesus did, that said, okay, I love you so much, I'm going to give my life for you. And then the church goes, okay, and begins to follow Jesus and submits to Jesus. And the husband, it says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing of the water of his word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any blemish, but holy and blameless. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated his own body, but they feed and care for their bodies just as Christ does for the church. He's saying, husbands, your job is to love your wife like Christ, which means that you die for your wife. You sacrifice your very life for your wife. Whatever that looks like in your life, that's what it looks like. That's what it needs to be. There is a greater level of service on men than that's even put on women here. People don't like it because it says, wives, submit to your husband. Oh, I don't want to submit. I don't want to. But the weight of a husband is to be like Christ to his wife. That if someone breaks into the house and they have a gun, the husband is not supposed to be like, honey, get him.
Unless your wife was in the army, I'm not.
Even then, I say it's the husband's job.
Right.
Even then. Now, can they both beat him down? Sure. But if he's going, honey, go get him. No. We have a problem. He's laying down his life in the workforce. He's laying down his life when he comes home. He's laying down his life for his kids. He's laying down his life so that his wife can be all that God has called her to be. And it says, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. This is a profound mystery, but I'm talking about Christ and the church. However, each one of you must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. So basically, it's saying that there are roles. There are things that God has called them to do. And when we look through the Bible, we see women doing so many different things. We see women being prophets. We see women being business people. We see women being leaders in the church. We see women doing all these things. But there is a role that men have and a role that women have. Mm-hmm. And when we do those together, it's beautiful. And it represents Christ and the church. And even if they're not married, the role that men play in society and women play, when brought together, build a stronger society. So we can't have men fighting women and trying to hold them down, and then women fighting men trying to get their vengeance because of the role that they play, when we understand we all have a role to play. So I think it's important for us to not buy into the feminist rage bait and
rage bait.
It really is. It really is like the feminist rage machine. And then when you get what you want, you get mad about it.
Yeah. Like, they spent so much time in, like, what year was it?
It's been up for a long time. 1800s was like the real push, you know. But
yeah, when like women were fighting for their rights and all these things, and then when they got it, they were like forcing men to like, not really, well, maybe forcing men. I don't know. It was just they were trying to like give themselves more power and like all these things, and then like men finally like backed down a little bit and were like, all right, fine. And they got all this power, and now that they have all this power, they're like, oh yeah, we don't want to serve you, and we don't want to have like a working role. I mean, I guess they do, but like they're just like, we don't want to work to serve you. We don't want to work to serve kids. We don't want to. It's just this whole thing. I'm like, are you just trying to confuse everybody?
Don't say you want more, and then when you get more, get mad you got more.
Right.
This is for everything. This is for your job, money, whatever. Don't say you want more, and then when you get more, you get mad you got more. So, just as you're thinking about this, I just want you to ask yourself: have you had a worldly mindset of what the role of men and women are? Because listen, if you're watching this and you're a feminist and you're like, well, you just brainwashed your daughter and she just, okay, you go enjoy your negative life. But if you're a Christian and you're going, hey, how do the roles of men and women work and what is God's intention? Then I say, get into the word and actually see how the roles of men and women worked. And you'll see that God actually elevated women. You'll see that men were never allowed or called to actually push women down. Ari, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
When she makes music, you'll listen to it. What's your channel? Ari Girl?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. How do you spell girl?
It's really you.
She doesn't know how to spell girl.
Sorry, guys. No. Just been watching too much Despicable Me.
Despicable Me?
Yeah, they call they say they're girls, but it's like Goral or something.
Oh, yeah. Goyle. Whatever his accent is.
Oh, I used to be able to do it. So the lips.
Time for bed, girls. I can't even do it.
Time for bed, girls.
There you go. Anyway, see y'all later.